Okay, just real quickly, I would like to point out that I've made my background color white, and you're going to notice looking in the code, it's fairly often I've had to use important to make sure the rule that I'm setting overrides the themes, the rules or styles in the theme. Okay, so just be aware that sometimes if you're not getting the end result you're looking for, you might have to use important. And then, of course, down in the media queries, you can see I've just zeroed those out. And I'll be adding some content as we go through the videos here to address moving or dealing with our content in the different breakpoints. Okay, that being said, we'll make sure we're published. Let's go back real quick to our page, and we see we have our two images. Okay, this div and I should say this image and this image. I have selected to place each image in a div, and the reason being is it's a lot easier to target the div than the image. I didn't have a lot of success doing what I'm going to show you with just the two images, just the two inline block elements. But when I placed the images inside of a block level element like the div, then I was able to get the toggle to work the way that I wanted to. All right, so do you have to use two images? No, you could use one image. You could use three images. You could use four images. It's really up to you. I would be careful loading too many images, which you might not use, but either way, this is a viable alternative for selecting one or the other image, depending on the page break. Okay, so I believe we can update. Let's go back to our customize area, and we will go to our additional CSS, and let's get past the original and get down to where our new styles are going to be. Okay, and what we're going to do is, or we're going to target the header, new header, and then that div that I was just talking about. All right, so let's find, here's section, new header area, header, new header. So I'm going to, oh, and just so you know, this bit of formatting issue, it's just this line length that's forcing it to do this weird little format thing. Okay, let's go ahead and paste in. So we have header, new header, and then I'm going to use the greater than sign. And what the greater than sign is doing is basically allowing me to target the div elements, which are direct descendants of header, new header. All right. So basically what we're doing is getting at the descendants, and then I can target each descendant by using nth child. So what we're saying here is get at the descendant div, more specifically nth child 1. So the first instance of the div. Okay, and the div by default is going to be 100% the width of its parent, unless it's being told to do something else. Then we're targeting image. We're going to tell the image to have a width of 100% and, just for the moment, display block. So this is going to be our desktop, the top image. Then we have header, new header. We're getting at the descendant div. There's two, that's the second. Okay, there, I should say there's two. And in this case, we're saying nth child 2, the second div, specifically targeting the image with the 100% display block. So we're going to go ahead and publish, and we'll just kind of zoom out here a little bit, if you will, so you can see both. Okay, so this is in the mobile. So what we're going to do is we'll tell the top image, instead of displaying block, we will display none. Okay, let me check something real quick here. All right, after pausing and figuring out what happened, I can explain it this way. Okay, so again, I was targeting a descendant div, and then we were calling out the, in this case, the first child, so the nth child 1, so this would be the first div, this would be the second div. But when I set the first div to display none, it doesn't make the image go away. But what I did before the demo is I tend to go in and add comments, and I add the comments for more organization and also to help you out to visually see what I'm doing or where I'm doing something in the code. And this made me start to think the comment which follows header new header is before the div. Okay, so what if that comment was somehow changing the order of descendants? So that made me try if I change this to 2, because the comment is between the new header and the div. So I'm going to change this to 2. Okay, and display is none. And let's change, okay, because see, this one's 2 also, and this one follows this one. So we would need to then change this one to 3. And this image now does in fact collapse. So that comment, so I'm going to change this back to 1. We'll change this one back to 2. We'll keep this at none. And we're going to see what happens. So let's publish. And let's go back to our HTML. And here's that header. And then here's the comment. And I don't believe there's anything different about this comment than any other comment here, other than it follows header and it's somehow changing the descendant order. So what if I just take this comment, let's cut this comment and place it up here. So we still have the comment, so we have at least a description of what's happening. And I'm going to go ahead and just close up this space, and then we'll update. Let's go back to Appearance, to Customize. Let's go to our mobile, and we are back to one image. So very odd. A good learning experience that a comment, so let's scroll down and find our new rule. So if we were to set this one to block, it's now works again correctly. If we change this one to none. All right, so I'm going to inverse that, because in this view I want to show this image, which is cropped closer on the top, and I'm going to hide what is the desktop image. So we'll make this one none, and then we will publish. All right, so interesting learning experience. A couple of takeaways. One, you now know that you can target descendant descendants within an element, and you can be very specific which one you're going to target by using nth child. And then we now know that, at least in WordPress, adding a comment in front of a potential descendant can kind of messed things up. All right, well, we fixed it. We should be okay. I also want to mention that I went ahead and while we're here, let's see, I have removed that pink border so we don't see that pink border any longer. And then you might want to take note that in new header area and new header, to get things to work correctly, I had to force a width of 100% and set this to, so that's why I used important here. And the overflow visible, I said important. We really don't, I could comment this one out also. But you will notice in new header, the position, the width, the margin, and the padding, all to get these to work correctly, I had to set them to important, so they'll take precedence. So again, as you're working through, if you run into an issue where you are not getting the response, and assuming you have targeted an element correctly, then you may have to use important. All right, on to the next video.